Hello, welcome to Stairway Tarot. This is going to be a pick a card with the theme of dogs. We have 3 piles to choose from. They're going to entail a little description of the crystal that's associated with each pile, along with some tarot cards and some oracle cards. And then I'll close it off by shuffling a spirit animal card for you guys to have something to work on. The reason I chose the dog theme today is because I really enjoy the idea of loyalty being in the forefront of our minds. Loyalty to ourselves, to our highest selves, and to our highest good. I think loyalty is a concept that gets confused at times. And it can sometimes cause us to lose our best intention for ourselves. So the question that I want you to frame in your mind when you're listening to your reading here is, what can I be doing for my best and highest good to be loyal to myself? So with that, I'm going to just burn some sage really quick and set some intentions for myself as I'm reading. Feel free to close your eyes and to set intentions of your own as well. Spirit, in love and light with clarity for each of our readers here at Stairway Tarot, please help to guide each person listening and to allow them the freedom to make intentional and wise choices that are in alignment with their highest good. Please allow them the courage to make these decisions and choices. Spirit, please help me to be clear in my words and to bring about a new mindset of loyalty to oneself. Spirit, please protect us in love and light as we read here today. So the 3 piles, this is pile number 1, 2, and 3. Pile number 1 is brecciated, I believe that's how you say it, brecciated Jasper, otherwise known as puppy Jasper. Pile number 2 is Howlite. And pile number 3 is Dalmatian Jasper. Okay, let's start with pile number 1. First, the description of the crystal, the puppy Jasper. Puppy Jasper aligns the chakras and balances the yin-yang, physical and emotional. It is a stone of protection and is used in particular for protecting during astral travel. It brings happiness and a good outlook on life and eases stress. It is also said to bring energies for success into work. Keywords: organized, relaxed, and wholeness. Yin-yang. The chakra it works most with is the root chakra, or the first chakra. Okay, let's see what your tarot had to say here. So, Spirit, how can pile number 1 be in alignment with and loyal to their highest selves. The Hanged Man, the Five of Wands in reverse, and the Seven of Cups upright. Okay, so it appears to me to tell a bit of a story. The Hanged Man speaking of some form of indecision, some form of dark night of the soul, in which perhaps he felt dark, felt trapped in a cocoon of your own making. This card in particular from this deck, which is the Wild Unknown Tarot, is a depiction of a bat hanging upside down. The bat has red eyes, so I feel like you had a real negative outlook on life for quite some time, and probably were in one of those states where you just couldn't get out of bed. You just wanted to wrap yourself like a cocoon in a blanket and do nothing for as long as you could. And it seemed as though the root of this kind of radiated out from you. You were perhaps afraid of other people being affected by this negativity, so you isolated yourself. It looks like the next step in this story is you filling in the darkness, you rearranging the darkness and trying to make sense of it, to make it into something beautiful and structured and organized, to put the pieces of your puzzle together, perhaps because you couldn't be in this state anymore. Couldn't be or didn't want to be. You perhaps had some motivation finally to sort things out. But if you look at this card, you can see things are starting to get organized, but it's still pretty chaotic, and the chaos is a result of many different directions of thinking, and those directions of thinking are led by the gaps of your knowledge. So what I mean by this is you still feel a bit scatterbrained, perhaps. You still may be led by your desires, the things that held you when you were in this hangman state. But the ball has started to roll. You're starting to get the organization going. The Seven of Cups, to me, is a very balanced looking card. There's the sun and the moon in the card, which is great. I think that the cards that have both the sun and the moon in them represent an ability to incorporate the shadow side. It does appear to be snowing in this card, and there's like a frosty mountain scene. So what this says to me is that though things look cold still, and they look distant, they look isolated, and like most of your cups have been iced out in this way, left out in the snow to accumulate frost, there is still one cup that is faced towards the warmth of the sun, and that is the glimmer of hope that you need to grasp onto. That is the thing that is keeping you balanced. It's interesting to me that the card that describes the puppy Jasper talks of astral travel, because to me it almost looks like some of your ideas are coming from illusion, and for me that speaks to being in the clouds in your head, dreaming, a dreaming state. And dreaming is by no means bad. Dreaming is an excellent way to express oneself and to push oneself towards their dreams. But I think this card is prompting you to double check where your ideas are coming from and asking yourself as often as necessary if those things are in alignment with your highest good, if those things are helping you to be loyal to yourself. I'm going to pull one clarifying card for this to see if there's any additional information that we can get from this card. Spirit, how can we further interpret the Seven of Cups? The Hierophant in reverse. This to me speaks a bit of, like I was speaking about, an illusion, but an illusion that is keeping you comfortable. Trusting only yourself in things. Holding your own counsel and not believing anybody else's counsel. Which, the Hierophant is an incredibly intuitive being in tarot, but to me, this particular card from the Wonderland Tarot deck, when it's in reverse, speaks to tangling oneself in thoughts that are perhaps inaccurate or misguided. So an advice that could be gleaned from the combination of these two cards is to figure out these frosty cups, figure out how they became left out in the cold, and if it is worth it to bring them into the light of sun, to reincorporate them into your life by means of perhaps getting outside counsel from somebody that you trust. And if there is nobody that you trust, sit quietly with yourself and really think to yourself what ways you can remove yourself from the current mindset you're in, from the illusions that you've wrapped yourself in. I think this form of silent meditation will help you to get some answers, or at least give you a direction as to who you can trust to work things out. Okay, I'm going to look at some oracle cards. Spirit, knowing this path for pile 1, how can they use the idea of loyalty to themselves in an understanding that they are whole as beings? How can they balance themselves into alignment with their highest good? Okay. Number 41, Soul Song. I don't believe that these cards are typically read in reverse, but I think that it's an interesting little added bonus to gave them the option to come out in reverse because it, to me, speaks of a challenge for you. Meaning, if it comes out in reverse, this is what you can focus on right now to get back to yourself. So, number 41, Soul Song. I'm going to show you what it looks like in reverse and then what it looks like right side up. It looks to me in this card, it's an image of a body sitting in a meditative position with a yellow and white emanating source from their solar plexus and heart area. And then there is a direct beam of light straight up from their throat chakra, which is surrounded by a triangle. I can't see this. Can you see my triangle? Surrounded by a triangle. And it goes up even further to a set of wings that are just beautifully on fire. Let's read the description for Soul Song. Your soul emanates a beautiful song. Think of it as a pulsating light moving in rhythm with the universe. Your song travels through light, and it is the background music for your life. Even if you can't hear your song with your physical ears, know it exists. We know animals hear sounds we can't hear. Your song is always resonating throughout the universe, along with the magic of the spheres, and the sound of the universe, and the sound the universe made when it was born, the greatest song of all, Om. You can tune into it through your heart and through your throat. Be willing to live your life for your highest, most aligned, and most loving perspective. The next song or piece of music that moves your inner world will help you to tune into your soul song. Or you can go out into nature. The music of nature will balance and detoxify. Align with the sounds of the earth, and you will find the steps next to take. This particular oracle deck, the Secret Language of Light, also offers inspired reflections and actions, as well as some journal work. I would strongly advise you to pause after each reflection and action to figure out how you can incorporate it into your daily routine. Number 1. Put on your favorite music and dance around the house for at least 5 minutes. Number 2. Chant Om 7 times to align with your soul's antenna. Number 3. Experience a gong, a Tibetan healing bowl, a crystal bowl, or a toning meditation session. This can be directly or as a recording. I was actually just listening on YouTube. There is it's a ridiculously long video, like 7 hours or something, but it was the mantra, therefore I am, I believe, or maybe it was just I am. And I clicked into it, not really being sure how it was going to resonate with me, but it was incredibly uplifting, and it did exactly this. It aligned me with my soul's antenna. So I would suggest, if chanting Om is something that's foreign to you, to also do it along with something, to give yourself a rhythm to start. Journal work. Write down 3 movies, books, or songs that move you to inspired or joyous tears. This response is alerting you to your soul's passions. So perhaps music is something that's really important to you guys. And I think that this is saying that music can be something that aligns you back into yourself, can be something that eliminates all of the chaos or realigns the chaos so that you can use it to move forward in a solid direction rather than feeling scattered. Okay. The second oracle card is going to be from the Shamanic Medicine Oracle deck. And this will give you kind of another way that you can dive deeper into aligning with yourself. Bells. Deflection. It's interesting because bells is another form of music that's actually in alignment with the idea of a gong or a crystal bowl, those kinds of things. Another way of finding joy. And this card, because of the like little white swirls in the background and because it looks like an antler to me, it speaks heavily of Christmas to me. So perhaps Christmas music is a way that you can really get yourself into a happier, more aligned spirit. I would suggest or recommend that if you're inclined to do that, if you're inclined to listening to Christmas music, to remember why you love it, to click back into perhaps nostalgic memories that make you happy when you experience Christmas music, and to use those memories to understand your position in life now better. Okay, last but not least, I am going to pull you a card from the Wild Unknown Spirit Animal deck to figure out what you can be pondering right now, what part of yourself you can tap into right now to release this way of thinking and to help you embrace these changes more. To release the chaos and bring in alignment to yourself. Spirit, what can group 1? Wow! Okay, the first thing I saw, perhaps animals are like a huge thing for you. I saw an elephant, a fish, and a rabbit. So, but I'm going to reshuffle because that was quite something. But perhaps animals are trying to speak to you. It's, if you remember from what I read in the Secret Language of Light, it said go out into nature. So perhaps the animals around you are really trying to speak to you. And animals also speak very loudly to me. One way that I'm able to keep positive and keep my eyes open to them is by every time I see an animal and it gives me a feeling of like a click feeling, if that makes sense, like an intuitive feeling, I go to the Google machine and I look up that animal's symbolism. So for example, elephant symbolism. And the website that I use is called spiritanimals.com, and they post a quote that the animal is associated with for the day, or sometimes even the hour. It depends, but click into those things. Really start to allow yourself the freedom of being one with animals. I also see that here in the bells. Like I said, it looks like an antler of some kind. So, and the bat. So animals might be really trying to speak to you. Okay, let's try this again. For group 1, how can they reflect on themselves? How can they begin to align themselves with loyalty to their highest good? The earthworm. Yep, okay. So that speaks to me as a prompt to ground yourself. I said earlier about being in the clouds or being in a dreamer state, having ungrounded ideas. The earthworm to me says, okay, it's time to take whatever ideas you've got right now and bring yourself back down to earth to process. You can always go back to that dreamer state whenever you need to, but it's important to cycle it out, to dream, ground, because otherwise it's only going to ever be dreams. And I'm going to just go ahead and read the description for the earthworm. Where are you, earthworm? If I was an earthworm. I promise I'll find it. Aha! Okay. Shy, hesitant, reluctant to share inner vision. We have all felt the woes of the earthworm at some point along the way. The earthworm indicates a newbie or a novice working to establish confidence in a new field. Others around you may seem wise and experienced, but it's important to remember they all once felt the earthworm energy too. This card is a reminder not to be intimidated or to lose hope. Mastery takes time, and you're on the right track. Besides, rumor has it that a beginner's mind offers the most valuable insights. When the earthworm is in balance, it is earnest, intelligent, and valuable. When it is out of balance, it is self-conscious and apprehensive. To bring it into balance, speak up and risk embarrassment. Okay. I believe that's everything I have for you, Pile 1. I hope that this gave you some clarity. I can't wait to hear your thoughts. Please come back next time for more fun. I'm going to clean up now, and we're going to do Pile 2. Da, 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 da. Okay, Pile 2. Pile 2 is the Howlite crystal. I'm going to go ahead and read your crystal description first and foremost. Howlite is one of the attunement stones, which link the user to higher spiritual consciousness. Howlite opens and prepares the mind to receive the energies and wisdom of attunement, and allows for new interpretations of old thoughts. It is also a dream stone, and helps to create more peaceful sleep. Keywords: angelic, restful, peaceful, lucidity. Chakras Howlite works with, all of them. Right off the bat, this speaks to me that perhaps my Pile 2s are a bit out of whack and they're looking to find this balance, which is in perfect congruence with the topic of this pick a card reading, which is how can you be loyal to your highest self? And part of that is staying in attunement. Perhaps my pile 2s also are having trouble sleeping because of this sense of being out of balance. So let's take a look. I'm going to look at your tarot cards first. The Magician. The Nine of Cups. And the Nine of Pentacles. Okie dokie. No. Yeah, okay. Excuse me. Right off the bat, there is so much color. And I think it's quite notable that the colors are not any one color. They are a combination of all the colors, which kind of ties in with your idea of Howlite being for all chakras, an attunement of all chakras. It does appear to have blue as a pretty dominant color, so perhaps, let me check really quick. Perhaps the throat chakra. I'd check which chakra was associated with the color blue. The throat chakra is something that you can work with, especially right now. This paints a picture to me of being at the last leg of your race, of literally sitting on success and yet forcing yourself to look away from it, being confused perhaps in a way. It doesn't look to me that there's a huge press for time. It looks like things are fairly peaceful in this reading, but that your mind is not allowing you to see that peace. Interesting again, because the keywords for Howlite are restful and peaceful. So those probably are the things that you need to work on, is incorporating peace and the ability to rest in your daily routine. Perhaps you're pressing yourself too hard right now. You're being too hard on yourself. I think it's pretty interesting in the Magician card, if you can see it, the big cat, I believe that's a jaguar, has an infinity symbol right on his chest. It almost looks like a bow tie to me, which speaks of celebration. So if you allow yourself the ability to combine the power of one, Magician card is the first, well, technically the second of the major arcana, but the Fool is considered 0. So 1 plus 9, either one of these, that will lead to your celebration, your ability to embrace celebration. All you need to do is believe in your ability to harbor this magician power. I'm going to look up, spirit animals are a huge source of guidance for me, and I feel incredibly connected to spirit animals. So I'm going to look up jaguar symbolism and read you the quote to see how it ties into this reading. It says, you have the ability, no, excuse me. You have to make a decision before you can take action. Even a temporary fix will get things moving again. Okay. This actually ties in really nicely to what my mind was thinking, because the jaguar is sitting on a pentacle. And you have the 9 of Pentacles and the 9 of Cups. So my thought is that money perhaps is on your mind. Money is perhaps your focus of struggle at the moment. So if that's where you need to focus your mind right now to make a bit of money in order to feel secure in this fashion, if you're concerned about your ability to maintain wealth and your ability to maintain emotional stability, the temporary fix of securing your money or your financial wealth will allow you the freedom to start filling your cups, your emotional needs. Yes, I certainly feel that way, because the way things are placed right now, the jaguar's looking at the cups. He wants to feel the emotional security that he longs for, but this is holding him. So if your temporary fix is to secure your finances first, do that if you need to before you think about your emotional needs, because otherwise you may stay stuck in this this loop, this idea of, I want money, but I want to feel happy. I want, Okay, so now let's take a look at your oracle cards to see what ways you can achieve this attunement. And in what ways you're able to release yourself from the burdens that you're feeling at this moment, to align yourself with loyalty to your highest good. Interesting. So the card I got is Soulcraft. The Soulcraft card is very much so yellow and orange. So it appears to me that, and if you look at these, the center of the pentacles is red, yellow, and orange, and this, the Magician card, is yellow and orange. So that, I believe, needs to be your first priority. You have the desire for your higher chakras to be fulfilled, to have truth, insight, and clarity, but you have to start with the lower chakras to eliminate fears, shame, and to allow the attunement of those things to enhance your willpower for clarity, truth, etc. And you can do that through refining your soul craft. So let's read about that. The thoughts, ideas, and topics you incessantly discuss are crafting your life. So focus on the ones that make your heart smile. You are ready to receive answers from your soul about any topics, thoughts, or ideas you want to change. Be willing and wise in your crafting, and the path of least resistance will call you. Different soul vibrations will inspire different actions. If you are feeling tired, your inspired action will be to rest or sleep. If you're feeling love, you'll be inspired to do things that emanate love in your day. We all sense with our soul, but often override it with the rational mind. Trust your soul is bringing you the most up-to-date information. Wow. This particular deck, the Secret Language of Light Oracle deck, also offers some inspired reflections and actions as well as some journal work. I strongly advise you to pause the video and consider after each reflection and action how you can incorporate them into your daily routine. Number 1. Meditate for at least 5 minutes a day. This is a way to reconnect with your soul and create your dreams. Meditation can look a million different ways. If it's sitting in silence, that's fantastic. If it's laying down with your eyes closed, that's fantastic. If it's listening to crystal bowls or a gong or a mantra, that's fantastic. If it's a guided meditation, that's how I started my journey through meditation, or beginning to accept meditation as a routine in any fashion, is I would choose a guided meditation on YouTube that spoke to me. One of the people that spoke to me, or that connected with me personally, was named Michael Sealy. So just food for thought. Number 2. Think in energy instead of time frames, just for a day. When you become an energetic match for your desired thoughts, you will meet them. There is no set time frame. Number 3. At night before you go to bed, step back from your life. The larger you view, the clearer your actions will become. In the morning, as you wake up, stay in this larger view of your life and note what inspired actions drop into your mind. From a neurological standpoint, sleep is a huge untapped resource for humans. We are able to categorize and interpret so much in our sleep, and that is when all of our memories of the day get cataloged. So if you allow yourself the space before and after you wake up, before you fall asleep and after you wake up, to get into a good mind space, it will allow you to reach that restful, peaceful spot, and it'll make your dreams more vivid, which will help you to interpret them the next day. Journal work for your soul craft. Draw or write about 3 things you want to do in your life that others cannot talk you out of. No matter what anybody says, you know you will do or experience these things because it feels like the right thing for you to do. What you focus on, you create, and everything else falls away from lack of attention. I think this is difficult for a lot of people because expectations are put on people to maintain a certain way of being. So if you allow yourself to be swept into a facade or a mask that you tend to wear in front of certain parties or just in your daily life, if you're allowing yourself to hide your true self, even from you, it's difficult to give yourself the space to experiment with that. But know that if that resonates with you, if that's how you're feeling, like you're wearing this facade or mask, or that you cannot show your full self around people, that perhaps those things will fall away with time. And that's a healing process in and of itself, to allow things to fall away without swinging in one direction or the other too much, to allow it to happen organically. But it is possible. And it is in the alignment of your highest good. Okay. Your second oracle card is going to be from the Shamanic Medicine Oracle card deck. Spirit, by what methods can Pile 2 tap into their soul craft? How can they naturally move into a space that is loyal to their highest self and their highest good? The card is West, and underneath it, it says Purge, and it's got a great big owl. I believe that's a barn owl. So perhaps going west is something that you've considered for a bit. Perhaps the It's interesting to me because we have all colors on the board right now. This kind of just finished the completion of the cycle. Green was really the only color that was not so prominent, but it finally came through. So again, it sounds to me like an attunement of all of the chakras is needed from the bottom up. Perhaps your love is in the West. Perhaps what you love is in the West. I want to read this card. And also a note, it says purge. So we're talking about in the Soulcraft definition or explanation, what things you can do to let the excess fall away. And it sounds like purging is a conscious process that you need to start this process consciously, to set intentions of letting things fall away, of redirecting your attention to things that are in highest alignment with your desires and passions. Check it out west. Okay. Whatever it is that has been eating away at you, it is now time to get it off your chest. Spit it out and say what you feel. You have a voice, so use it. Problems cannot be solved if nobody is aware of them. If you're in a bad relationship, get out. Make the necessary preparation by telling a close ally. You will get their support and you will find the courage to make your move. If work is the issue, speak to your boss and give them the opportunity to correct things. If they can't or won't, you can always seek out what it is you really need to be doing in your life elsewhere. If you have been living by another's rules, religious beliefs, or ways that are not for you, now is the time to explain why you will no longer abide. The people who matter and who really care will not punish you for being true to yourself, but they will support you in making the changes that you need. The spiritual warrior of the West now leads the way to help identify, dismantle, and destroy all habits and beliefs that no longer serve a positive purpose in your world. West revealed. In Native American traditions and the old ways of European and Scandinavians, the West represents the source of great personal power and opportunity for transformational change. Associated with the element of water and the season of autumn, West brings an uprising and a purging. Other divinatory meanings. Determine who a true friend is. Weigh pros and cons before you make a commitment. Someone is sad to have lost your friendship. A relationship is being healed. Decide where your loyalties lie. Be integral to all you do. Be truthful, consistent, and assertive. Be you. At the end of each description for the Shamanic Medicine Oracle, it has a little rhyme that's called speaks. So for this one, West speaks. Remove all which serve you no longer. Let cleansing waters make you stronger. Clear of mind, body, and soul. Now I have room to make you whole. Well, that's powerful. I would love to grab a clarifying card for this oracle card, in fact, to see where pile 2s, or how pile 2s can determine the qualities that speak to them in terms of a loyal friend, in terms of where their loyalties could best be allocated in their life for their best and highest good. Loyalties to themselves and loyalties to others. So how we can allocate loyalty to others in the spirit of loyalty to our highest self. The Knight of Flamingos. To me, this speaks of a passion, of when you feel passionate about something, follow it. If you feel stagnant in something, pay attention to it, because that's trying to speak to you as much as your passions are. So in determining how your highest self can align with others is through chasing your passions, which to me also talks about the soul craft. The more you're able to dive into your craft as an individual and to discover your own passions, the more you're able to connect with the right people. Okay, Spirit. We're going to finish off your reading with a card from the Wild Unknown Spirit Animal deck. And the intention for this card is to find the part of yourself that you can tap into, or that you can really work on to ease your passage into the next little bit of time here. To understand maybe the blockages or the parts of you that are blocking yourself from enjoying your soul craft and from purging the parts of you that are no longer serving you. Spirit, for the best and highest good of pile 2s, how can they work on themselves? What parts of themselves can they focus on to align themselves with loyalty to their highest self? Ooh, the Nightingale. I really enjoy this card. It's just mysterious to me. The Nightingale. Fearless voice, speech, communication, or song. The song of the nightingale is otherworldly. This simple brown bird, almost unnoticeable among the flashy plumage of other birds, transports its listener to the realm of poetry. Nightingale energy is with us when we write, compose, and especially when we sing. It reminds us that music heals the deepest wounds. This card indicates a need to open the bridge between the heart and the voice. Is there something you need to say? How long has it been since you sang? Turn it up, write it down, and let it out. When the nightingale is in balance, it sings and speaks freely with kindness. When it is out of balance, it is shy and has a lump in the throat. To bring the nightingale into balance, use music. Perhaps music is it ties into your soulcraft, or perhaps music is a method for which you can express your needs in things or express your position in things. I also think it's worth noting that it said speaks freely with kindness when it's in balance. I think that is an important message in this, because when you think of purging, it can almost give a negative connotation, like I need you out of my life kind of deal. But in reality, it can be done with the utmost kindness. It can be released organically in this way through the use of kindness and compassion. Because remember, just because something doesn't align with you doesn't make it any more right or wrong. It just means it's different. It's not for you, it's for somebody else. So try not to hold judgment for people that hold a different vision than you. If the song portion of that really resonates with you, I would also encourage you to go back and listen to pile number 1, because song was pretty prevalent in that one. Okie dokie. I think that's everything for pile 2. I hope this gave you some clarity and some understanding of your position and how you can align yourself with loyalty to your highest and best good. I hope you come back soon for some more fun. For now, I'm going to clean up and we're going to get to pile number 3. Okie dokie, pile number 3. Oh, almost fell. Everything is fine. Pile number 3 is the Dalmatian Jasper. Okay, and first I'm going to read a little description of the meaning or properties that are associated with the crystal you chose, which is Dalmatian Jasper again. Dalmatian Jasper is said to bring qualities of loyalty and self-sacrifice, the willingness to take risks on behalf of other beings, along with determination, the never give up attitude. Dalmatian Jasper represents the higher aspects of companionship. So perhaps loyalty is something that is really in your scope right now. Questioning your loyalties to others or questioning others' loyalties to you. But to me, it almost speaks like your loyalties to others. Like you're questioning what loyalties you can feel solid in. The never give up attitude and taking risks on behalf of other beings. So through using compassion and trusting other beings, you can find companionship. Perhaps trust is something that's a bit difficult for my pile 3s at this moment in time. Okay, so let's take a look at your tarot first. Spirit, for the best and highest good of pile 3s, what can you tell us about their current position? Judgment in reverse. the Daughter of Wands, and the Hermit in reverse. Okie dokie. So this has a pretty strong energy to me. An energy of feeling in a space where you have lost trust in people. You feel fine in yourself. You feel like you are just fine. Like you're solid in your choices. You have a pretty clear idea of your direction or what you want to do, but you have lost your ability to see other people's perspectives, and this has caused you to retract within yourself. And perhaps when you're pushed to interact with people, or pushed in ways that make you feel out of your comfort, you are snappy a bit sassy, if you will. And I think that this can sometimes come from being in such a strong spot in yourself that you question why other people can't be strong in themselves as well. And that forces an idea or a position of judgment. Okay. So Spirit, how can pile number 3 release themselves from this spiral of mistrust and judgment and bring themselves into alignment of not only loyalty to themselves, but loyalty to people as well? I think it's also worth saying to pile 3 that in being loyal to yourself, you have to allow yourself to find loyalty and trust in other people. It is not natural or practical for humans to go about life alone. It's a spiral, as I said before. I think also Spirit already spoke to us a little bit about how we can get you out of this mindset of clamming up, and that is through taking risks on the behalf of other people. Self-sacrifice, if you will. Okay, so again, Spirit, how can pile 3s get themselves out of this mentality? Ooh. Okay, so it looks like from your tarot cards, the only real passion that you have in your life is coming from your own fire, your own source. And what your first oracle card is from the secret language of light is color. Which to me talks about, in relationship to companionship, allowing others to also color your life, to dissociate the mistrust you have and all the judgment you may hold for certain people or for people at large, and allow their brightness in their own unique ways to permeate through your boundaries, to just open that door a little bit. Also, the image of the color card is of a heart. So this also talks to me about opening your heart chakra. Perhaps grief has been something that you've experienced in excess, either recently or throughout your life, consistently. So doing heart chakra meditations and breathing into your heart, visualizing what it would look like to have an open heart and how positive feelings can come in through that opening. Starting there, perhaps. But I do want to read the description of this color card. Your perception of life is becoming more colorful. You are opening to different colors and experiences. Color breaks up old black and white thinking and opens your heart to beauty of love and life. The colors of the rainbow are a variation of white light, reflecting the diverse experiences of life, and they are all valid. Each color of the spectrum has its own energetic vibration that stimulates certain responses and healing. Different colors mirror your physical, emotional, and spiritual state. Your soul uses this mirror to communicate your need to heal or embrace balance. Get to know what colors you are attracted to and the ones that repel you. You are love and you are loved, no matter how colorful yours or another life is. I think healing is a very painful process for someone in this particular state of mind of like clamming up, of mistrust, of like setting barriers between you and the outside world, because all experience can seem risky. But start with things of small risk, people that you know well or that you know how to vibe with easily, and decide what it is about those people that you enjoy, what color they're emanating and why you enjoy it. And in the opposite side of the spectrum, in the moments that you're feeling that repel, why are you feeling it? What qualities are being emanated that you dissociate with or want to dissociate with? And that will allow you to heal into alignment, if that makes sense. It'll help to push and pull you into the person your soul is, the person you're meant to be. Okay. This description also says, as a journal work, wear a different color every day for 5 days and record how each color makes you feel. Use this information to create harmony in your life. I don't think people realize that color has vibration, a wavelength, if you will. And it is associated with certain feelings. So, if you allow yourself the freedom to feel in the presence of color, you can open yourself up to a wider variety of healing. For example, if you look at a color red and it's next to a slightly varied shade of red, which one do you like better? Why? Is it more muted? Is it more intense? How does that relate to who you are as a person? How does that relate to who you want to be as a person? Using color to open your heart chakra, your Pandora's box, because people can be seen as huge risk, but color is a nice gateway to discovering how many different types of things there are, and hopefully putting you on the mind path that there is bound to be a soul tribe for you. There are bound to be people that will not break your trust in the ways that have shattered you, and will accept you for exactly who you are in the state that you are, if you allow them to. So your second oracle card is from the Shamanic Medicine Oracle deck. and my intention for this card is a further way for you to open yourself up to taking these risks in order to align yourself with your highest good in loyalty to yourself and in loyalty to companions for you. Insects. This is one of my favorite cards of this particular deck. This also speaks to me as a safe gateway method of discovering the variety of life. Perhaps you've been closed in a certain group of people or a certain type of people, and that's all you know, that's what you've become accustomed to, and it's driving you into the ground. So by looking at the variety of life through colors and through insects, allowing them to guide you into a mindset of faith and into a mindset of appreciating small joys, it will release you from being closed off immediately with people. The dragonfly in this card really spoke to me. So I am very connected with animals. They are a huge source of guidance for me, and one way that I keep in positive communication with the spirit animals that guide me is through looking up on the Google machine the symbolism of particular animals. So in this instant, I'm going to Google dragonfly symbolism, and the website I use is called spiritanimals.com, and they have like a positive quote usually that is associated with the insect, and it rotates out. So I read that and figure out how it is in association with the things that are happening in my current circumstance. So in this case, we're going to look at the the quote, which is, "Live your life to the fullest." That's what the dragonfly says. And that's for you to determine what living your life to the fullest really looks like for you. Are you living your life to the fullest at this moment? Are you allowing yourself to experience this vast range of emotions and joys that the world has to offer? I'm also going to look at each description in the guidebook for the shamanic medicine oracle deck has at the end of it a little rhyme, which are always fun. So in this instance, it's called Insects Speaks. And it says, "Spiders, beetles, those who fly, upon you cast their beady eye. Escape from web in which you're caught. You have the insect's full support." So if you are going about your day and you see insects, bugs, invertebrates, whatever, I urge you to take a moment to breathe deeply and determine what it is about that insect that has your attention, to just let it speak to you for a moment. And if you're feeling real excited about it, perhaps look it up. Look up its symbolism. Play with it for a little bit. See what feels right. Okay. To close out your reading, I'm going to pull a card for you from the Wild Unknown Spirit Animal deck. And my intention for this is to see what parts of yourself you can really dig into at this moment and realign or focus on to open yourself to the wisdoms and the variety that perhaps you've been missing out on. Spirit, for the best and highest good in love and light, what can pile 3s be focusing on within themselves to be loyal to themselves and to others? Whoa, how exciting. You got not 1, but 2. And one of them is, okay, a little thing about this particular deck, the Spirit Animal deck. There are animals associated with 5 elements: earth, air, water. Earth, air, water. What am I missing? Earth? Fire. My goodness. Earth, air, water, fire. And the 5th one is ether, which are kind of mythical creatures, so to speak. So you got a mythical creature, and you got the bee, which is air, of course. The bee is, of course, an insect, so again, be looking out for those tiny creatures to speak to you. See what the bee has to say first, because I'm all kinds of excited about your second one. Okay. The bee is earnest, hardworking, and democratic. The Dalmatian Jasper also mentioned a never give up attitude. So I think you want to be in a place of trust. I think it's just been incredibly difficult for you to get past your blockages right now. The bee personality is a delight to be around, especially when there's a team project on the horizon. Bees love to work steadily and thoughtfully until the final task is complete. They are sensitive creatures aware of many subtleties at once. Since they're artists at heart, they usually add creative details to the overall vision. For the most part, they have a bustling, joyous personality. Until they're too tired from all the work. Then they gripe, and then they sting. That's also something I picked up from this Hermit card, is that that little flame at the bottom. When I was saying, like, perhaps you get a little sassy, sassy was, like, kind of a nice way of saying, like, sometimes you bite, sometimes you sting, sometimes you got a little edge to you. Just a little something to think about. When the bee is in balance, it is content, active, and vibrant. When it is out of balance, it's overworked and annoyed. To bring it into balance, take a mini vacation. Or a mini staycation. Whatever you need. Okie dokie. So, your second spirit animal card that you got, and I think it's worth noting that the bee was upright. The second animal, or I guess it's not really an animal, but the second card you got was the black egg in reverse. And it says this: speaking from an authentic voice and the truth. These things are associated with the black egg. The black egg contains one of life's essential treasures, the truth. Inside of it resides no confusion, excuses, small talk, noise, or lies, not even white ones. This living and breathing vessel harbors only that which rings true. When this essence is in balance, we speak slowly and clearly. We are drawn to activities like writing, reading, teaching, singing, or perhaps public speaking. Sounds draw us in, Books draw us in. The concept of truth itself draws us in. We start asking questions like, what do I know to be true about myself? And what is true about the world? When the energy of the black egg is not yet accessed, we speak from an unsure place. We say things others want to hear, gossip, or repeat stories to justify our subpar behavior. We might even try to convince ourselves that we have no inner truth at all. The energy of the black egg hovers and waits for us to reconnect. It is available at every moment, in every situation. It is the epicenter of our truth, the birthplace of our voice. Perhaps this is why you wish to be in a hermit state, because you feel that the expectation has become for you to be a person that, a yes man, or a gossip, or you don't feel satisfied in yourself, so that is what you emanate, but that's not what you want for yourself. You want to do better. So in lieu of genuine interaction, you withhold yourself instead. The advice for the black egg is this. The subtle essence of this card resides at the base of the throat, at the Vishuddha chakra. Vishuddha. I'm not sure if I'm saying that quite right. Vishuddha. The throat chakra. The ancient sages saw this center as the hub that governs our speech and expression. This chakra translates as especially pure. The balance of this center is important for all of us, but it is especially essential for writers, editors, musicians, and teachers. Perhaps these creative outlets, we were talking about color over here, perhaps you are a creator that incorporates color, whether that's through visual imagery or through the act of drawing with color or whatever medium you have. I know two crystals that are important for the throat chakra, or that can, sorry, I'm rocking the whole table, that can assist in the clearing of the throat chakra and allow for free expression of the truth, is actually these two crystals right here, Angel Aura Quartz and Blue Obsidian. They're relatively cheap and you can find them at most crystal shops, so perhaps getting them and just rubbing them on your throat, I know that sounds a bit weird, but allowing yourself to feel and to experience the coolness on your throat and visualizing what it means to speak your truth in a kind and loving manner, and to figure out what speaking your truth will add to your life, how it will improve your life and the lives of everybody else around you. Perhaps that would be an interesting practice for you. I believe that's it for my pile 3s. I hope that this has brought some clarity and some support for you in this time. And I really hope to express that you have someone thinking about you, and that you're not alone in these thoughts. There are an immense amount of people that experience the desire to just hole up in themselves or to pass judgment because when you judge yourself, you're bound to judge others. If you can't fully love yourself, you can't fully love others. So start here and align your loyalty within yourself and find the small joys in your life. And that will automatically open you to experiences with other people, positive experiences with other people. Okay. You are loved, and I hope you come back soon for some more fun.